Well, now after I received some confirmations that everything works, you should hear and see as well. I think it's now time to start. It's 3 minutes past 2, so I now officially start the virtual event. So welcome everyone. It's a pleasure to welcome you all to the second day of EENA's Who is Who in the Public Safety Industry events. Yesterday it was a huge success. With more than 120 participants joining, which I think only reassured us in the belief that public safety organizations are continuously looking for innovative and new solutions that can help improve their work and at the same time improve the life of everyone. Today we have another amazing lineup of presentations. I know that 3 hours seem to be long, but stay with us until the end because there will be lots of interesting presentations still to come. Here I am, I'm Kasia Kotz, and together with my colleague Taviana Kaminiti, we are EENA events managers. We will be your moderators today and tomorrow. Feel free to ask us any questions during the virtual event. We are here to assist you and assist the speakers in the best way we can. As most of us work from home, we would like to thank you in advance for your flexibility and understanding, as there might be a possibility we could struggle a bit with time constraints or minor technical issues. So if we go a little bit over the time scheduled and we will not finish at 5 p.m. sharp, or we will have to change at the sudden moment the speaker's orders because there will be some technical issues, please forgive us, stay with us, and bear with us. It is not a recorded event, it's a live event. So it's normal that between the presentations, we will have a short transit time devoted to the speakers, just to make sure that all is set and ready to go. So what's the aim of this virtual event? Well, normally EENA would organize several physical events this year to help the community to advance in their public safety issues. However, due to COVID-19 pandemic, we have to adapt and search ways in which we can continue to support our community in their mission and help them to stay connected despite these challenging times. So we know that nothing can replace the physical events and we all miss them very much, but we thought that by launching this online event, we would help the community to continue effective collaboration. So we would give possibilities to leading solution providers to introduce their products and services in the public safety sector, and to emergency services and public authorities as well to keep track on innovative solutions that can help improve the quality of emergency response. Here we are. This is the 3 days program. Yesterday was the first day. Today, you see it's the block of 3 consecutive afternoons from 2 till 5 p.m. today and from 2 till 4 tomorrow. Each day has presenting blocks, each of 5 presentations. We wanted you to come and join valuable and interesting presentations for you. So as you can see in the program, you don't have the presenters' names and titles, but you have the company name and the tags indicating the areas of that company's expertise. So if you would like to read more and discover company's profile, links in the program will take you to the online Who is Who directory, a newly developed website which will present you in a very interactive way what are the companies that are presenting today and what solutions they do provide. The connection link of today is valid for tomorrow as well, so feel free to join us tomorrow. Coming to today we have 15 presentations, each of 10 minutes, divided into 3 blocks. Don't worry, 3 hours is long, but we allow a short breaks in between to grab a coffee or take a fresh air. During each of presentations, don't hesitate to ask questions. Write them in the chat window that you see in the control panel of GoToWebinar. In fact, those questions are not visible to everyone. They're only visible to us moderators. So, don't hesitate and ask them during the presentation. Don't wait until the end of the presentation, because then the presenter will not have the possibility to adapt the presenting time and to give and allow some Q&A sessions to happen. As the time is short, the presenter might, but is not obliged to answer the questions. So if you will see that your question hasn't been answered, don't worry, feel free to contact the presenter individually afterwards, because they will share their contact details in their presentation. Presentations, however, will not be published on the event webpage, neither distributed afterwards to the participants. The recording of the event will be available as notified here tomorrow in the afternoon, early afternoon, and all on the webpage and also on EENA YouTube channel. So for me, there is nothing else to say but to welcome you again. And now we will move to our first speaker of today, a presenter of OneToMany, Manuel Cornelis. It works perfect. Here we go. You're ready to go.
Okay. Well, again, good afternoon. Thank you for joining. My name is Manuel Cornelis. I'm responsible for global sales at OneToMany. As you might have heard yesterday or in the news, two of the main providers behind nationwide public warning solutions have joined forces. So OneToMany is now part of Everbridge, while we have a common mission of keeping people safe. And we implement this mission by enabling our customers, you, with the right tools to protect their population. Our purposely built mission-critical systems enable the management of a crisis before, during, and after an event. We do this by offering real-time situational awareness solution, insight and crowd movements, alerting solutions, guiding people to safety wherever they are. Both cell broadcast and location-based SMS are recommended by BEREC to comply to Article 110. We do this by providing a modular platform ensuring full compliance with these EU directives now, but also beyond in the future. So it does not matter what your roadmap is of dissemination channels, functionality, we can provide a future-proof solution, a truly hybrid multi-channel platform. So if we look at OneToMany, we are headquartered in the Netherlands. We are a global operating mobile network equipment provider. And we have specialized ourselves in cell broadcast public warning. As a matter of fact, OneToMany is the pioneer behind cell broadcast. We built world's first 2G cell broadcast system in 1996, then still part of Logic CMG. And we've continued this innovative streak by being the first in 3G, 4G, and even a few months ago, we were the first in 5G. We're still continuing this driving of innovations today, like, for instance, device-based geofencing, enabling meter accuracy geotargeting of alerts. So the use of cell broadcast for public warning has been our focus since 2007. We've therefore been part of many studies and trials. These have resulted in the first nationwide launches towards the public of an alert in the Netherlands, in Europe, but also wireless emergency alerts WEA based on the CMS standard in the US. And in many cases, Everbridge OneToMany are providing for countries the full end-to-end national infrastructures. So both the governmental front end, used by crisis management agencies, the CBE, to create, manage, and audit alerts, but also the dissemination systems at the mobile operators. Examples of this full chain deliveries are, for instance, in the Netherlands, where the front end and the CBCs are provided by OneToMany. Or in Greece, where they've chosen a specific model, not so much a decentralized approach like in the Netherlands and many places in the world, but a centralized cell broadcast system, providing service to the whole of Greece, with the front end of Everbridge. Or for instance, in New Zealand, where also the front end and all of the cell broadcast systems located at the mobile operators originate from Everbridge OneToMany. OneToMany is heavily involved in worldwide standardization bodies like 3GPP, ATES, and ETSI, both for the cell broadcast technology itself, but also the use of the technology for public warning purposes. As an example, in this picture, in this photo, you see our standards director, Peter Sanders, receiving an Outstanding Achievement Award for his contributions to the American standard from the CEO of ATES. So many of the relevant standards involved in cell broadcast public warning come from his hand. As an example, he's recently written the cell broadcast standard for 5G, and TS 23041 is in general of his hand. He's also the main contributor and editor of the EU Alert Standard, applicable, of course, for us here in Europe. He's the vice chairman of MTEL, so that's ETSI's Special Committee for Emergency Telecommunications. And the goal was, and it still is, to create a truly global, compatible standard, allowing people to be safe wherever they travel. And with much success. Many of the countries in the world have selected cell as at least one of the means to keep their public safe. From Chile to the US, Europe, of course, with Article 110, the Middle East, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, New Zealand, they all use our type of technology. And although all of these systems called differently, WPAS, KPAS, EU Alert, the underlying technology, it's all cell broadcast. As analyzed by Derek, there is an excellent fit for purpose for cell broadcast. EU Alert CMS clients are available in Android and iOS by default. Sending a message to millions of people takes only seconds. It always works, even when networks are congested. It provides GPS-based meter accuracy geo-targeting. And of course, it has a distinct ringtone and vibration, set it apart from all of the messages the general public receives continuously. And of course, completely standardized. As an example, in the Netherlands, the first country in Europe to implement the EU Alert Standard, locally called NL Alert, it has been live since 2012, and with much success. Currently, it has a population, and that's actual reach, of 94%. So 94% of population over 12 are being reached by the NL Alert service. EU Alert is now the backbone for emergency public communications. Everbridge OneToMany is providing the whole technology link, the front end, and CBCs at the mobile operator. And as the service has matured, we have in addition started to integrate secondary channels, like integration with the public transport panels or digital outdoor advertising. Another example is Greece. Also there, Everbridge OneToMany is providing the full technology chain. The specifics there is that we are providing a centralized system, a centralized cell broadcast system providing service to all of the mobile network operators. And what's unique is that this infrastructure, this cell broadcast system, is also managed by OneToMany. We take care of the complete technology chain. So all our products, they are in-house developed. And that results in successful projects because the deployment and afterwards, after deployment, all of the support are in-house and owned by OneToMany. So we are a reliable long-term partner with best-of-breed solutions trusted by many governments and mobile operators. So I hope that this short introduction gives some insights.
Sorry to disturb. Yes, I'm happy to announce that you have 2 questions. Would you like to answer them after you finish with your presentation?
Absolutely, I'm happy to take any questions that you might have. Let me see if I can open up the chat here. So the first question I see is, how does OneToMany differ from other cell broadcast providers? I think that's not something that I should answer. I think that should be answered by our customers. It's they who have chosen OneToMany as the provider of these mission critical solutions. We have been successful in this. And I would encourage people from the audience, governments, to reach out to our customers and ask them why we are the best choice for them. If you ask me, I think it's all about our heritage and our experience. It's not about telling that you could do this, but actually proven that you can be successful for this in this domain. The devil is in the detail. This is not an easy thing to do. These are complex, technically challenging projects with a lot of details, and those details you only know from experience. Not only the technology in the mobile network itself, but also understanding what the end goals are. Not so much as implementing cell broadcast, but having the ability to anticipate what the final end goal is. Our systems, they need to work when they need to work. And that sounds very easy, but we have proven that we have the systems to be able to do so. And I think that is for our customers the thing that we bring. We are for them the lowest risk option. We do and we deliver.
There's still very, very short time to answer the second question, Manuel.
Okay, the second question is CMAS the only cell broadcast mechanism, or are there other cell broadcast mechanisms for alerting? For instance, cell info. I think cell broadcast, it's an old technology. Previously, in the old days, it was used for advertising solutions, non-mission critical type of applications, having functionality like, for instance, cell info. So using the capability of the phone to show where they are. The difficulty is that is the old user experience. So if we're now talking about nowadays, if we're talking about cell broadcast-based public warning, we're effectively talking about the CMAS, the WIA user experience. And that user experience is implemented by clients in the phone. So broadcast-based public warning is effectively a user experience defined by the CMAS standard. However, the underlying technology of providing and getting the alert to the phone, that's still the good old cell broadcast. In the Netherlands, they use two ways of implementing. They started off with the traditional old-fashioned commercial services type as in cell broadcast, with a dedicated channel for emergency alerts. Downside, people had to turn this on in order to receive the cell broadcast messages. Nowadays, in our experience, all of the global implementations, they are based on the user experience defined by the CMAS standard. So, which means a pop-up with a dedicated caption of the alert level provided.
Manuel, I'm very sorry to stop your presentation and answer here, but we really need to move to another presenter. Thank you very much. Please, the time is short. I want to be equal and fair to everyone. So here, if the person who did not have a full picture of the answer received by Manuel, please contact Manuel individually. Now I give the floor to Stewart Rush from Creativity Software. Hi, Stewart. We see you well and we see your presentation. You're ready to go.
Excellent, and welcome everybody to our session today. I hope you find these sessions quite informative and looking forward to some questions. So to introduce myself and my company, I am Stewart Walsh, the Field Product Director at Creativity Software. And I'm glad and delighted to be presenting here today. So what I'm going to talk about is introduce some ideas. I'll do a quick introduction of who Creativity Software are and what we're known for. And then I want to talk about a couple of topics, just introduce you to some ideas, hopefully see those ideas and you can ask some questions or follow up afterwards. I'm going to talk about location intelligence and why that's important in the emergency arena today, mass location and public warning, of which we've already had some introductions to those parts. So let me start off by telling you a little bit about Creativity. We've been around since around 2001. We're based in Kingston, a small part of London, beautiful by the Thames, and we're a location solution specialist for emergency services, law enforcement, telco and big data, as well as mobile money fraud. We're a software company that produces these solutions. We're deployed in over 16 countries worldwide and around 700 million subscribers, whether they know it or not, are using this technology. And a variety of customers break down by governments who use our technology, which I'll talk about, and of course, mobile operators as well as other enterprises. And we're delighted to present here today. So just at a real quick summary, what do we do? So as a company, we provide highly accurate mobile location data services, and that can be whether it's for emergency services, what I'm focusing on today. It could also be for law enforcement, could be for commercial organizations, and even for mobile network operators as well. And as well as that, I'm going to talk a little bit about location analytics today. And we also offer big data, data enablement solutions. So let's talk about it. What we provide is a solution to governments and operators to provide highly accurate mobile location. What that means is that we can help government organizations such as emergency services to provide real-time location for subscribers. And obviously that has implications for emergency services, for personal safety centers, for law enforcement and others. What I want to kind of introduce you today is something that we've pioneered here in the UK called AML. Advanced mobile location, and that was pioneered by BT, British Telecom, and we were delighted to be one of those founding members, where it provided PSAP centers a way to automatically get location information from a handset. And that was devised and continued to be rolled out around the world in more and more countries, and governments are taking a stance on that and actually starting to implement it. It has certain strengths and it has certain weaknesses, but one of the things that we do is we combine that device location with mobile location. And what that means is it brings the best of two worlds together. Obviously, everyone's familiar with their handsets, finding a location. You've used Google Maps or other tools. But what happens if that breaks down? You need a backup, and that's exactly what PSAP, public safety answering points, the emergency services need. So we provide a solution that brings those two together so that a person can be found, whether their handset's working correctly or the network can also derive the location, and we combine both these. It gives us the widest scope across mobile phones so that it's not just dependent on the phone knowing where it is. We can also work out by the network so that it's independent of a wide range of devices and also independent of the type of network, whether it's the oldest 2G network or a newest 5G network. It has to cover all of that to deliver the highest accuracy location in the world today. And we are probably one of the most audited companies, as you can imagine, where we're audited to make sure that the location information we're providing is accurate, safe, and precise. And that's a key differentiator, because a lot of governments did look initially at AML, but being able to combine those two elements together gives the greatest capability and scope on the market today. And it's just something I wanted to introduce you to think about as far as the public safety is concerned. Bringing those two tends to advance significantly the percentage of reaching those people who are in need. So we also provide what we call mass location intelligence. And I wanted to introduce you to a couple of ideas here, looking at the big picture. So initially we were talking about emergency scenario where someone's called, maybe they might be in suicide or they might be in need of help to get an emergency service. But you also might want to look at the bigger picture. And we can provide solutions such as around COVID-19. Are people dispersing correctly when they're supposed to? Good example would be, for instance, if the pub locations or events or venue locations are supposed to close at a time, are people dispersing? And our solution can help with that. Is there a curfew compliance if everyone's supposed to be in out of the houses at 9:30 or into their homes by 9:30 or 10 o'clock? Is that happening? And you can do the analytics around that, as well as is the movement of people happening in and out of infected areas. That's very powerful for the management of COVID, whether it's now or going forward. The other area I want to highlight is disaster events. So what happens when a particular terrorist event takes place, or it could be where some sort of flood or other disaster event takes place. How do the emergency service respond to that today? And what we do is help them focus on where are the people and what resources do they need to get to where. and our solution enables that and helps that in a significant way, because not only can it be relative real time, but it also can help focus those services so they're not just being told to go to a place where people are not. This is very much integrated with mobile networks because it is the best way of locating people, whether that's in dense urban areas or whether it's in rural. And one of the things that's key for our engine is highly anonymized data. So providing data where required that does not store people's information, it's just a generic picture for people, is quite important. And a lot of operators are very happy with that because it helps them to be, for instance, GDPR compliant and yet still provide these solutions where required and requested. So one other area that we kind of introduced in previous presentations is this intelligent public warning. So we work with cell broadcast people to advance things more so that you can identify quite small areas. For instance, it could be around a hotel, creating a geofence, and then message and get acknowledgements of those messages to ensure people are getting those messages and they're being read and that actions have been taken. Now, the reason you want to be able to do this is it could be, for instance, a terrorist event taking place and you want to notify people to be intelligent. There have been many events where you want to be able to make sure that you can communicate to people effectively and efficiently. And what this does is it reverses the idea of 112, where we're able to, based upon an event at a location, message the people in that area, but very tightly, and get acknowledgement. So basically having intelligent alerted messages is very key to that component. So just a little bit about the solution we provide is called LocationWise. Great name for a product. It's completely independent of the generation of network, and it supports, obviously we pioneered AML, but it supports a widest range of devices. It can be deployed anywhere because it's a software solution. It can be deployed in network, it can be deployed in cloud and on virtual platforms. So it is hugely flexible. So again, just summarizing what we provide, and the ideas I want to kind of enter today is having that ability to do a high accuracy emergency location. So rather than saying, look, someone's in this general area, we can be very specific. Enabling emergency alerts for humanitarian relief and public safety we talked about. Again, we've been one of the pioneers around AML, and again, we can talk to you about how we've expanded that. Deliver the most accurate mobile, either network independent of the network and device, and support all PSAP structures because we're a very open engine. So I'd like to kind of commit that presentation and ask for questions in the last minute I think I have.
Hi, Stewart. Yes, there is one question. I've sent it to you in the chat. So in the context of identifying several hundred of thousands of mobile numbers in a particular area of interest, does this load the network resources?
Perfect question. Indeed, that is something we've worked with operators on. So we have both what we call active technology and passive technology. And passive technology enables exactly that use case so that we do not interfere with the network. We basically pick up the information from the network in a passive form, and we extract that to build the location intelligence. It has no effect on the network. The active does, and obviously you wouldn't be putting millions of active requests. The passive, it can do an entire network and can do that in a relatively quick period of time. So exactly, we have the solution for that, and we call it passive or mass location.
Another question, I think it's going to be the last one, is how did you expand AML?
Okay, so AML is a standard that was pioneered by EENA and out of BT in the UK. What we do is expand it. Basically, if you rely on AML alone, that will just rely on the handset either having the location of where it is, and that has proved in certain scenarios not to be that effective. But what we can do is we augment AML with network location. So what we do is we combine our network location technology and AML to provide the best of both worlds, so that our intelligent engine will say, right, tell me where you are, subscriber, and if it can't, then we query the network to find out where that subscriber is. And that way you're actually giving yourself a good 90 percentile capability of identifying that subscriber.
Thank you very much, Stuart. Your time is over, but I think that the Q&A was very good. We had some questions. So now we move to Amalendu Paransnis from Solaris Civil Security.
Just a very quick intro. I don't think most of you know Solaris, where we come from, but we are actually a former part of the Mobilaris group. We divested this company almost a year ago into a separate entity focusing solely on public safety and on national security. One second. So we've been around for quite a long time, as most of the companies presenting today. We've been working with public safety, law enforcement all around the world for a long time. We have products running in Middle East, Asia Pacific, Europe as well. Mostly we do things to prevent criminal activity, but during the last 5, 6, 7 years, we've also been delivering very capable public safety system as well. Basically, very much the same as most of the presenters here. A dear child has many names, so we also have a name for our products. I'm trying to switch slide here, but it's now here. We have something we call Cellular Intelligence, which to some extent is what creativity calls passive data. We call it Cellular Intelligence. It's basically about intercepting and analyzing traffic data from all the mobile networks in the country, preferably in real time if that's possible. And by doing that, we can find patterns in all these location information, all these events, how phones have been used, where they are, where they've been for the last day or 2 days or 5 days or years, whatever. It's interesting. And we also believe that having all this data as a resource, you can control what's going on and what's going to happen and how you clear things up. There's always a debate nowadays, especially since this pandemic started, whether you should rely on apps or if you should rely on network-based solutions. We believe in network-based solutions, probably combined with applications at some point. But again, every phone leaves a digital footprint, as we call it. Whenever you use your phone for text messaging or turn it on or off or on, or if you browse the web, you leave a location mark somewhere, which can be used for public safety, and knowing where the last known location of everyone in the network or in the country. And again, mobile networks, they are a countrywide situational awareness resource, basically for authorities. And again, jumping quickly to the fourth bullet, one of the things that we have experienced when we have installed our systems now recently in some more countries when it comes to this pandemic, it doesn't require any interaction by people. They don't need to install anything. The authorities or the public safety workers, they pull all the information directly from the mobile networks. So whether you want it or not, your phone is contributing to the data collection and the situational awareness. And of course, anonymization is a key subject all the time. And it can be anonymized in some parts of the world. In some parts, it's not as important. But again, the main thing is that you can if you want and if it's required. A little bit about Solaris Civil Security. As I mentioned, we came from Mobilaris Group about a year ago. I'm myself the founder of both Mobilaris and Solaris. We have two business areas. One is public safety and one is the national security. When it comes to public safety, I think that's more for this audience. We have two products. One is called CIWS, which is just yet another name of a similar solution that many of you all have. It's about location-based text messaging and location-based cell broadcasting. We do both in this product. And then we have the React product, which is a combination really from the national security products with the public safety products to create a very, very capable tool to analyze movement and presenting the results from what's happening when authorities take different decisions regarding curfews or quarantine rules, etc. And then the national security part, we have two very capable products. One is the monitoring center, where you can monitor all phones in real time, what you call mass location. We can analyze the movements for several years back in time. We also do call data record analytics for a number of customers as well. A quick look at the public safety. I think we all know exactly what this is about. It's about providing the right information at the right time to the right people when something happens. And again, there's location-based text messaging, SMS, which we started out with as a very capable carrier of information. But it also has to be combined with cell broadcast technologies, because cell broadcast is what we call a little bit stupid technology, but very powerful. And combining these two, you have full traceability and speed of communicating with your citizens. Again, a dear child has many names, as we say, but this is what we do. We provide this community information and warning system to a number of customers. We have some huge installations where we actually send about 500 million text messages over 3-4 days at some points, when it's really a lot of location-based information that has to go out to the public. And again, we use also the SIM card to detect nationality and make sure that the language could be English, Arabic, Swedish, or whatever is required. We continuously follow the density data and the distribution of phones, and we share it with law enforcement, emergency services for ambulance planning, or even how many trash trucks should be in a certain area during big events, for instance. Sounds simple, but it's quite a powerful way of planning. Again, incident report seems to be very important these days. We have had incidents where people complain that I didn't receive this message. We can show that yes, you did, or yes, you didn't, and what time you received it and where you were, etc. And of course, we believe that our solution is the most scalable solution. I know that there are so many solutions out there, and they're all very good. And again, the important thing here is that we have solutions that we can protect the public. Just a quick screenshot how we do it. Very simple interface. You mark an area, you prepare a message, the system will calculate as good as it possible by taking the network planning tools into consideration to see how big will the area be and how many people will receive the message in these areas. Coming to the React platform, which is our latest baby, and again, it's a combination of a typical emergency alert platform with location-based text messaging, combining it with these very advanced tools we have for national security. We can quite simply or quickly provide our clients with very accurate estimates of the number of people in a given location at a given time to identify crowds. We can even set thresholds to define and see if too many people are heading into an area, or if it's less. You can visualize by seeing heat maps now and also in the past to compare how curfews or different recommendations, how they actually play out in the real world. And of course, analytics to see how people have moved over the time. And if people are not following the curfews, we have customers putting up geofences around areas to see that if phones move out of that area, they will receive a text messaging very friendly saying that you should really stay where you are because there's a pandemic ongoing. And of course, communication, which I think we all know what it's all about. Very little about the national security part. Again, we do mass location, we do cellular data interception, we have a very advanced machine learning algorithm. We can do a huge number of historical analysis to identify cells of people, criminals, terrorists, and our customers use it mainly in two areas here: protect and prevent. It's used quite commonly to protect VIPs, prime ministers, cabinet members, etc., because we can identify if there are phones, for instance, following VIPs. It's impossible to see using just people in the street. You have to analyze all the data in real time to find anomalies. Use of border control, transnational crime, inbound roamers to see where, for instance, known human traffickers come in, where they go, which country they leave for. We just a few months back actually, our customer managed to identify a number of IEDs, improvised explosive device, that were to be set off with mobile phones, and using the analytics they could actually find them and disarm them by actually killing them from the subscription.
Malendu, I'm very sorry, but I have to disturb you. I let you quickly finish your presentation because we have to move on now to another speaker. Okay?
We are finished. We are done.
Okay, perfect. There were some questions. I've sent them to you, but we unfortunately don't have time to go over them. I invite now the audience to contact Amalendu individually. And I move now on to Mats from Everdrone to start his presentation now.
All right, so my name is Mats Sellström, and I'm here to represent a company called Everdrone that are located in Sweden. At Everdrone, we are really experts in developing drone technology and providing drone services. We started off in 2017, and in the beginning, we had a really strong focus on the technical side of things. Basically, we were trying to solve a number of technical challenges that we saw in the drone industry at the time. And we also, from the beginning, had a very strong interest in applying this technology in emergency response, healthcare, public sector, and so on. And over time, we gradually realized that there's no one really carrying out type of operations where we wanted our technology to be used for. So over time, we have become more and more of an operator ourselves to actually prove to ourselves and to potential clients and to society that autonomous drones can actually be a real integrated part of emergency dispatch, and that they can actually provide the real value in emergency response situations. So with this in mind, we started looking at a very specific use case about a year ago. And the use case I'm talking about here is the concept of using drones to deliver automated external defibrillators, AEDs, to the site of a cardiac arrest somewhere in the society. And why did we fall in love with this specific use case? Why is this such a good first case for autonomous drones in emergency response? So, and just looking very quickly at the numbers, we have about 6,000 people in Sweden each year suffering from cardiac arrest. And only 10% survives this type of incident. So we have 90% mortality rate from cardiac arrest situations and to us, that was just not acceptable. And there's obviously lots and lots of research in this area, and everything shows that early high quality CPR and early defibrillation are absolutely the most critical factors to increase the survival rate and make sure that more than 10% of all people suffering this situation can survive. And one of the challenges is that there's a lot of AEDs placed in different locations in society, at public buildings, in workplaces, and so on. But the issue is that 70% of all cardiac arrest situations occur in private homes. So even if there's more than 40,000 AEDs sold in Sweden in the past 10 or 15 years, there's a complete mismatch between where you have these devices and where you have the incidents today. So from our perspective, we don't believe that it's the right solution to place more AEDs in society. We see a much better chance of saving lives by making sure that the defibrillator is at the site where it's needed, at the time when it's needed, precisely at the right time and place, basically. And we can do that using autonomous drone systems. So the consortium working with this at the moment is obviously Everdrone, who are experts in drone technology and drone regulations. We have SOS Alarm, who are answering all 112 calls in Sweden. We have Karolinska Institutet and their Center for Resuscitation Science, who are experts in the medical side and all the ethical considerations you need to involve in this type of operation. So we basically have all the pieces to actually turn this concept into reality. And that is exactly what we've been doing this summer in Sweden. So what we've been doing is that we have operating a real-world clinical study where drones have been dispatched in real-world emergencies and delivering AEDs to people suffering a cardiac arrest. This clinical study was initiated in June and went on for 4 months. The primary endpoint at this stage was basically to see if it was possible, if it was safe, and if it was feasible to conduct this type of operations. And we have been using 3 drone systems located in the area of Gothenburg in the west coast of Sweden. And in total, these 3 drone systems have been reaching 80,000 residents. I would very much like to share all the results and all the data from this research with you today, but unfortunately, everything is need to be secret until it's published in a high-impact medical journal sometime later this year or possibly early next year. So I won't be able to go into details, but from a very high-level perspective, I can draw some conclusions. And for example, I can tell you that we have been operational and continuously been carrying out these operations throughout the summer months. The system, both from a technical side and an operational side, have been performing as expected. And we still see a very great potential in this completely new methodology. So what we are doing right now is that we are preparing for an extended study in 2021, where we will be reaching more people and deploying more drone systems. And one of the challenges, or one of the tasks we are working with right now, is to identify suitable locations where we believe this type of system can provide the biggest value. And what we're looking for is basically areas where we can reach relatively high, relatively many people, so high population areas, and where the response time of the ambulance is relatively slow. Then we also need to consider what type of airspace there is and a few other factors. But in general, we want to reach as many people as possible, and we want to improve the ambulance response time as much as possible. And what we see on screen right now is a part of Sweden, and each of these purple dots are a historical cardiac arrest situation. So each dot here represents one of these out-of-hospital cardiac arrest situations, and for these situations we also have the historical response time of the ambulance. So using this data, we are running simulations for a large number of Swedish towns right now. And this particular case is an example from the city of Trollhättan on the west side of Sweden. In this scenario, we would have a drone system covering about 40,000 residents. And when we compare the historical response time of EMS, the ambulance service, with the response time of our drone service, we can see that we can roughly cut the response time in half. So instead of about 9 minutes, we would be on site in about 4 minutes. And in total, we believe that the drone delivery could be conducted faster than the current EMS service in 97% of all cases. So these are really good numbers, and translating this to the medical side of things, we are quite confident that this could save many lives each year. So on the to-do list for next year for Everdrone is to expand our operations. We currently have an established relationship with Copenhagen EMS, and we hope to be up and running with this service in Denmark sometime early next year. In Sweden, Denmark in total, we hope to deploy and install 5 to 10 systems, in total reaching 500,000 residents. And in parallel, we are also initiating discussions with many other emergency response organizations in Europe. And we have a very good collaboration through EENA, and we hope to reach out with information and an invitation to collaborate together with EENA in the coming weeks and months. So stay tuned, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer that if I have 1 or 2 minutes left.
Yes, you still have 1 minute left, so I take advantage and read you the question. So how this program manage whether the people supporting the person having cardiac arrest, that they know how to use the defibrillator? Sorry for...
Without going into specifics on the study we conducted, one of the big advantages here is that the caller or the bystander witnessing a cardiac arrest have SOS alarm via phone. So they are talking to SOS alarm and they can get instructions over the phone to use the defibrillator. These devices are also very, very simple. So through the testing and the various research that's been conducted earlier, the answer is yes, we definitely believe that the bystander can use this device.
Super. I will thank now Mats from Everdrone and move immediately to the last presenter of the first block of today, who is Christian Repaski from Eurofunk.
Hello.
Hi, Christian. We see you well. And the presentation is on. Hi.
Okay, yeah, let's go. Yeah, hello and servus, everybody. I'm Christian Repaski from Eurofunk, and I'm a senior product manager, so I'm not a sales guy. Well, for those who don't know Eurofunk, the name Eurofunk is a combination of 2 German words. It's Euro for Europe, and Funk is the German word for radio communication. So if you pronounce it with Eurofunk, funk maybe has a different meaning. So we say Eurofunk. First, I want to give you some information of our company. Eurofunk was founded more than 50 years ago as a one-man, well, today we would say a startup company, and it's still a family-owned business with now it is more than 500 employees. We have more than 40 years experience in analog and digital radio, and we are specialists in control centers since more than 30 years. Our headquarters is in the heart of Salzburg, Austria, and we have several development and service branches in Germany and Austria, the Netherlands, and in the Oman. And well, this picture is not directly our office, but it's very close to us. We are supporting 3 main customer areas. The public sector, like PSAPs for emergency organizations like the Bavarian Ministry of Interior with 26 integrated command centers for fire brigade and ambulance services, or nationwide command centers for the police force of the state Schleswig-Holstein, Hessen and Sachsen-Anhalt in Germany. And in summary, we have more than 120 public control centers which are actually working with our solutions. Additionally to the PSAPs, our solutions are also used in some of the biggest airports and industry companies in Europe, like e.g. BMW, Daimler, BASF, or the Munich and the Frankfurt airport. We, as Eurofunk, offer an outstanding fully web-based CAD solution with a unique usability concept. A modern and omnichannel-based communication system. We offer multimedia solutions, control room designs, and of course, all necessary IT solutions for this prior named solutions like hardware and network, and for the operation of on-premise or public cloud-based solutions. One of our USPs is that we can use our own products and solutions for all tasks of a control center. So this is a picture of the integrated command center of Munich, where they use our voice communication system, our CAD system, our desks, and we also supply them with the multimedia solutions. We as Eurofunk offer a 360-degree solution where the customer has one contact and one company from the beginning of his command center, with the solution design over the product development of our standardized and state-of-the-art products, with the possibility of customer-specific enhancements. We do the implementation of our products and solutions with our own employees. And of course, we also do the full 24/7 service for our customers. As we do command center solutions since over 30 years and have the advantage that we support our customers with our own developed products, we can follow a holistic approach of a workplace. So we do a fusion of the workplace and the applications. With user-specific workplace settings like user-specific and configurable presets for desk and monitor height, or the light and sound settings. Another feature which we are very proud of is the combined usage of CAD and voice communication with the touch screen, where the user interface of the touch is automatically adapted to the current process on the CAD system. And we have also thought about the fitness of the users and offer some nice features like remembering them to move the desk to a standing position after a configurable amount of minutes of usage in a sitting position. Our newest product is called EOX, which stands for Incident Management Process and the whole voice communication. We have mobile resource service with a middleware and an app for the forces on the field. We have the administration app for the configuration and multi-organizational and hierarchic authorization management for master data and incidents, and also the monitoring of the processes is done by this application. Another component of the EOX suite is an app for crisis management, which has a full-featured and instant synchronization mechanism with the CAD. And with the mission support apps, we offer solutions for duty rosters, documentation and billing, and of course also business intelligence with predefined and nice dashboards, statistics and reports. And the central geodata infrastructure is used by all of these applications and processes, so all users can use the same and actual data regarding their features and record rights. The difference of EOX to other or previous products are that we especially focused on the users, and the UI was developed together with existing users and UI experts. EOX is one platform for all services and technologies. It is 100% browser-based, so you can use it on almost every device which has a web browser included. It enables a user and role-based security and level-driven configurable view, and it has a workflow and process-oriented work, so the UI is automatically adapted to the actual process step where you are. And it enables a flexible combination of cloud and local solutions. One of the unique properties of the EOX is its innovative user interface, which was developed together, as I said, with customers. The UI of EOX has mainly 3 usage levels, where the user or its role selects which level fits best to its actual task. So if I want to have a general overview of all incidents or what's going on in the area which I'm responsible for, I can use the dashboard level, which is on top of this slide. If I have to monitor and collaborate on several incidents at the same time, I can use the compact view within the middle. And if I will concentrate on one particular incident, I use the detail view where the whole screen is used for this incident. So there are different levels of user interfaces. As I mentioned before, we also integrated the usage of a touchscreen into the work with the CAD system, which normally is only used with the keyboard and mouse. Therefore, the user interface of the touchscreen, which is normally used for voice communication purposes, automatically adapts to the current usage and process level of the CAD in the main screen. You can, for instance, switch between the different UI levels of the CAD, as I told you before, or the touch UI offers you specific hotkey functions or detail views for often used CAD functions. EOX has also an optional integrated intake protocol, which supports the call taker with standardized or customer-specific questionnaire. The intake protocol has also possibilities for the integration of intelligent assistants, which can automatically give support during the call taking, like e.g., it can make suggestions for the next AED. A feature which is also very often used is the teamwork feature between the CAD and the duty roster, which enables direct access to actual shift planning and in tactical operations. So for instance, the CAD can consider the qualifications and actual equipment of the forces for the dispatching process. Yeah, the next slide, I've prepared a short video. In this short video, without any sound, we see this e-desk, which is, as I said, this design-winning desk. And in this video, I've prepared a short demonstration how the integration of the CAD system and the voice communication system can be done. You see a colleague of mine who is controlling the desk. He's controlling the desk with gesture controls, only with his fingers. He can move up and down the desk height. He can move up and down the monitor height. He can change the position of the touchscreen. And as I told you, he can swipe through these different user interface levels of the command and control application of EOX. So it's easy to use. And yeah, it would be nice if I can, some of you who are interested, give a deeper dive into EOX. And now I'm open for questions, if there are one.
Question 1, is the software hosted in the cloud or on-prem or hybrid?
Oh, it enables every possibility. So it's you can install it on premise, you can install it on a public or private cloud. You can also install it on a security cloud, and hybrid solutions are also possible. So it depends on your needs.
The last question, do you sell your software separately from the hardware?
Yes, of course. Yeah. We have different installations where we only sell the software, and the customer brings his own hardware in the solution. Yeah.
Okay. Well, with this, I will officially now close the first block. Thank you very much, Christian, for your presentation. Apologies for the video.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I will now invite the audience to take a short break, after which we will have 5 presentations to continue it, to start with the video of Carbine. So please come and join us in 10 minutes, and we are back at 3:20 sharp. Thank you very much, everyone. Stay with us, stay connected.